Hello, and welcome to Hoffman Guitars. Today, I'm bending the sides for a new batch of instruments, including 2 harp guitars. When people find out I build guitars, there are 2 questions I get asked more than any others. The second most common is, what kind of wood do you use? But the question I get more than any other is, without question, how do you bend the wood? And hey, I get it. It seems strange that you can bend something as stiff as wood. Over the years, we've used a lot of different methods, but they all come down to one basic principle: heat. So let's get to work and see what's happening in the shop. Most sides arrive in the shop somewhere between 150 and 180 thousandths of an inch thick. Before I can bend them, I sand them down to about 90 thousandths. Any thicker and they just don't bend well. Good results start with the right grain orientation. Ideally, the wood should be quarter sawn, meaning the grain runs perpendicular to the surface, and the grain should also run straight along the length of the board, with as little run out as possible. Run out is when the grain drifts at an angle through the thickness of the piece. This makes the wood weaker and prone to cracking. Before bending, I also profile the sides to match the back's dome and taper. Most acoustic guitar backs have approximately a 25-foot radius, which helps to focus the sound and improve the projection. Some builders profile the sides after bending, but that requires more complicated jigs, and with the number of shapes that we build, it would mean thousands of dollars in new forms. The shaper jigs we use are easy to make and work well for our process. I don't do much hand bending anymore, especially not on a hot pipe. It's slow and it takes a lot of practice, though it's still satisfying work. For this batch though, I did bend the small side pieces for the harp guitars by hand. One with a propane heated pipe like my father used to use, and one with an electric bending iron from Stu Mac. For most sides though, I used 2 different types of bending jigs. Either a stacked plywood form with a silicone heating blanket, or a self-heating cast aluminum mold made back in the 70s by A.E. Overholzer. For the plywood benders, I lightly spray the wood with water. Not too much, just enough to help the heat transfer evenly as the water turns to steam. Too much water can actually damage the lignin and cause cracks in figured woods like flame maple. I wrap the sides in parchment paper to keep any oils off the bender and to trap a little steam. I stack the side with a stainless spring steel slat, the heating blanket, and another slat on top. The inner steel protects the form from direct heat, and the outer steel applies pressure to prevent cupping and cracking. Clips hold the stack together while I position it on the bender. I always start from the butt end of the guitar, partially out of habit, but also because when we profile the sides before bending, it makes starting from the side much trickier. As I bend, I remove the clips gradually, keeping a few in place to hold the heating blanket next to the side. I've recently started hanging a small weight off the top slat to add tension. This helps to pull the side tight against the form and reduces springback. I also leave the waist shoe slightly loose until the upper bout is fully bent, tightening it at the end to stretch the sides just a little bit into their final shape. Once bent, I lower the heat to about half power and let the wood cook for about 15 minutes. Set a timer, you can burn a side this way. I let it cool completely before removing it from the mold. Our other benders are self-heating aluminum molds made by A.E. Overholzer, a builder and an author from the 1970s known for some unconventional ideas, but also some excellent tools. We have 2 of his benders, one for the dreadnought and one for a classical guitar. My father used the classical as the basis for our concert-sized guitar, preferring its gentler curves to the sharp corners of an OM. That same concert shape forms the foundation of our harp guitars. For the harp guitar treble sides, I can just use the Overholzer bender as is. But for the bass side, I use it for the lower bout and the waist, and then finish the upper bout with a plywood bender and a heat blanket. Finally, I bend the cutaways for the guitars that have them. These use a smaller plywood bender with a heat blanket. I cut the material for the cutaway from the treble side, so the grain matches perfectly. It's purely aesthetic, but it does add a touch of elegance to the finished guitar. There are many ways to bend wood, from a simple propane torch and a metal pipe all the way up to the robotic benders used in large factories. But it all comes down to the same basic principle. Heat softens the wood so a craftsman can bend it into shape. With careful prep, patience, and the right technique, it's a rewarding and fascinating process. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment if you have any questions about my work, and if you'd like to support these videos, you can pick up a t-shirt on our website or join my Patreon for extended discussions. We're available for repair work on any fretted instrument and offer same-day setups on Saturdays. Thank you for watching, have a nice day, and enjoy your guitar.